welcome to the Music Man Project podcast, everyone. I'm David Stanley, known as the Music Man, and I run the Music Man Project, which is a charity that promotes accessible music education right across the UK and around the world for people with learning disabilities. Now, you can find out lots more by visiting our website, The Music Man Project, or you can follow us on Facebook. We are The Music Man Project UK, and I've also got a new blog out called themusicmanblog.com. It's themusicmanblog.com. Now, in a nutshell, everyone, the Music Man Project delivers music education that leads to huge public performances featuring musicians with learning disabilities. We started in Southend with local charity Southend Mencap, but now we have music centres right across the country. I've extended to South Africa, India, Nepal, the Philippines, and there's even a Music Man Project in New York. Our musicians, that you'll hear all about during the weeks to come, they've performed in their own shows at the London Palladium, and most recently they made their amazing debut at the Royal Albert Hall. The show was called Music is Magic. But this podcast is not just about the Music Man Project. I really want it to reflect all the positive things that people with learning disabilities can do, and their amazing stories. So each episode we will bring you news, music, interviews, and loads of other exciting features. We hope you enjoy this podcast. First of all, I just want to introduce the listeners at home to Daniel Camacho, who is the resident drummer of the Music Man Project. Dan Camacho, you are very, very famous. So I'm just going to say to you, how are you feeling and how are you coping at the moment with all this isolation? What's it like,
Dan?
How
are you coping, Dan?
You're
brilliant.
Right.
Why is it brilliant? What are you doing today?
I'm listening to music.
What music are you listening to?
Music Man Project stuff.
Okay, that's good to know. And Dan, have you been following some of our videos on Facebook on MMP Wired? Have you seen those videos yet?
Yeah.
Did you watch David in the Triangles?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Was it
Your
funny?
Your son's amazing.
My son's amazing. He's funny. Do you mean the younger one that's pulling all the faces? He's probably the one that people...
William, yeah.
Yeah. But Adam got it all right on the Triangle. He was very good.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And so you've been listening to some Music Man songs, have you? Which ones?
Lots of them.
Yeah? What's your favourite, Dan?
My favourite is the Liberty Bell.
Liberty Bell?
Liberty Bell.
Ah, excellent. Well, another, not on this podcast, but we'll have to record a video of you doing Liberty Bell with me on some sort of FaceTime app. Would that be a good idea?
Yeah, good idea.
Great. There's no, honestly, you won't find anybody who loves music as much as Dan Camacho. He's really into his music. Okay, so the other reason I thought it would be great to have you on is to talk about this bench that, gosh, it must be a few months ago now, that we unveiled as a memory bench. Jackie, would you be able to explain a little bit about how this memory bench came into being?
Well, it was just... I was supporting Daniel to help him to cope with loss, really. And he wanted a bench. And it was just, well, where are we going to put this bench? And I happened to be at the gardens, the lovely gardens at Trust Links in Thundersley for a carers event. And I got talking to the guys that build things there. And I spoke to Daniel about it, and I said, how about having a bench? And he said, yeah, a remembering bench. And then I spoke to Mark at Southend Mencap just to ask him if he'd help me to fundraise for the bench, because the materials would cost about £100.
Right.
And Mark very, very kindly said that Southend Mencap would sponsor that bench because he felt that it would help a lot of students and Southend Mencap members to have somewhere to go nice and peaceful, that they can remember their friends that we have lost, some known to Southend Mencap, but all the people that you want to remember. Sometimes it's just nice to have a quiet space to be able to do that. So it took a while because I think Trust Links were working on a lot of projects themselves, but I kept checking in, and it was always, their intention to do it, and thankfully they
did, and we unveiled it, didn't we, with a performance from the Music Man Project, and a lovely presentation and some great pictures. And I have to say, I've seen it. And it's lovely, and I have seen the bench. It's just a beautiful bench in a beautiful setting, and a great chance for anybody just to sit on that bench and remember who they want to remember. Would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Who do you remember, Daniel, when you sit on the bench? Who do you remember? Who do you like remembering?
About Stephanie and
who else?
Charles and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth. Now,
good friends.
Yeah, your
good
friend.
Friends,
now, obviously, Charles and Elizabeth, both of those were Music Man Project students. And so it was really poignant for me to go and see that bench and for us to remember Charles and Elizabeth. So, I think it's really, really great thing that you've done, both of you, for everybody, and particularly for everybody at the Music Man Project, because, dealing with loss is really, really hard, and for anybody. But I think particularly for our students sometimes, it's really nice for them to have somewhere to go and just to be peaceful and remember. So thank you. And thank you for telling us all about it.
Thanks for being so involved with it, David. And like you said, your music lifts everybody as well. So it was lovely that you were there on the day.
It was great, wasn't it? And what we're going to do in a moment, just after we finish, we are going to play the studio recording of Charles's favourite song, Joined Together, in this podcast, so everyone can hear that song, because I know it is a real favourite of the wonderful Music Man ambassador that was Charles Colwick. Would you like that, Dan, to hear that song?
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, she'd like that. Good.
Well,
he's nodding.
Say thank you, and thank you for being one of the first guests on the Music Man Project podcast. We're going to record lots of these, and then hopefully people, when they're at home, particularly during this time of isolation, when they're a bit bored and at home, then they can listen to the podcast and really get involved that way as well. So big thank you very much to Dan and to Jackie. Is there anything else either of you want to say before we go?
No, but just thank you, David, for staying in touch. It really means a lot, because Daniel can look out for the podcast you're putting on, your videos on YouTube, and it all keeps us all together, doesn't it? Thank you very much.
We've got to keep the music going, haven't we? We've got to keep the music flowing. And do you know what, you two? It's been a bit of a secret. It's as much as for me as anybody else, because I don't do very well sitting at home doing nothing. So this is a great chance for me, essentially, to do a Music Man project, but at home here in my music room, so I can still keep in touch with everybody. Now, before you go, there's one amazing fact, everybody, about Daniel Camacho. In fact, there's lots of amazing facts about Dan, but the one that really tickles me is this fact, everybody. Are you ready? Daniel Camacho's great-grandmother invented Coronation chicken.
That's right.
Now, let's just let that one just linger in the air. Coronation chicken. We've all had Coronation chicken, but next time, don't go rushing to the shops to buy Coronation chicken, because we've all got to stay indoors and we mustn't rush to the shops. But next time you can safely have Coronation chicken. As you bite into that sandwich, you must think, Daniel Camacho, the family who invented Coronation chicken.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
You like it as well, don't you, Dad? Yeah.
And I know, every time we do a concert, everybody, our resident drummer, Dan, he's not happy until we've made that announcement. He often reminds me, don't forget, David, Coronation chicken. And while I've got the piano here, I've got no idea whether the levels are right here, but I've got the piano here. Hopefully we can hear that clearly and it's not too loud. I'm just going to play a bit of music that we always introduce this music when Daniel Camacho is in the teaching session at Music Man Project. And it goes like this. I better not play any more because I don't own the copyright of that at all. But if anybody knows that, that's the James Bond theme, and we'll always play that. I don't know why. Dan, why did we ever start playing the James Bond theme every time we do a hello song to you? I can't remember.
You did play it once together.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. We actually did a James Bond sort of performance with you on the drums. That's right.
That's right.
And then you see now we can also do this one. that's an old ragtime piece called Chicken Reel. So that's very appropriate for you as well. So I've now got choices. It is. I've got choices.
I feel the chicken theme is kind of carry on and on, David.
It is. The chicken theme is definitely going to be a feature, I think, of this podcast. I might remind everybody of that fact in every single episode. Right. Okay. It's about time we say goodbye. And well, we're going to do a clap. There's no one else here, but I'm going to clap you and say thank you, Dan.
David, we clap you too.
Thank you very much. Okay. No problem. Oh, actually, while we're on the podcast, I think we might just do this. We'll just fit in this Goodbye Dan song. Goodbye Dan, goodbye Dan, goodbye Dan. You did well today. Go on, Dan.
Goodbye, David. Goodbye, David. Goodbye, David. You did well today.
Thank you, Dan. So as promised, this is a Join Together, which is music by David Stanley, that's myself, and lyrics by Jenny Hitchcock. And it's been recorded by Al Steele in his studio down in Wales. It's Join Together, and it was a favourite of our friend Charles Colwick.
In times of uncertainty, love and friendship see you through. Music mends an aching heart, building peace and hope anew.
Join together, one by one. Join together, hand in hand.
These times of uncertainty, joy and humor see you through. Music mends an aching heart, building peace and hope anew.
Join together, two by two. Join together,
Hand in hand in
These
hand.
times of uncertainty, faith and knowledge see you through. Music mends an aching heart, building peace and hope anew. Join together, three by three. Join together,
Hand in hand in these times of uncertainty, strength and courage see you through. Music mends an aching heart, building peace and hope anew.
Join together, four by four. Join together, hand in hand.
All together, side by side.
Side by side.
All together, hand in hand in
All together, side by side. All together, hand in hand.
Well, we're here with Jenny Hitchcock, the music lady herself, and I thought it was only right that one of the first people to be interviewed on the Music Man Project podcast was Jenny, who's known me for longer than I've known my wife. She's known as the work wife. It's Jenny Hitchcock, everyone. Jenny, where are you and how are you?
Hello, David. I'm currently sitting in Chris's bedroom in his flat, where we are planning to spend the next 12 weeks potentially in lockdown because of his different health things. But we're okay because we have little helpers that are dropping stuff off now and again.
Good.
And we have 2 rooms, so, when we get bored of each other, we can split and have a different room.
My
He
gosh.
hasn't got to listen to me yabbering on all day.
So just to explain, this is your boyfriend, and you've got 2 rooms, and you're just going to be wandering between the 2 rooms. Is that right?
That's the 2 rooms, yes, but we also have a stairway. And we thought if it got really bad, we've got 2 cars, so we can sit in the car.
Oh, that's good. Yes. So,
Okay.
so well done. So you're safe. You're not in Southend, but you're okay. And the message, isn't it, Jenny, to everybody, all of our students and anybody else with learning disabilities around the country, just to stay in and stay safe, especially important for them.
Stay in, stay safe, and keep the positive things going.
Yes.
Because social media has a habit of doing some very negative things and spreading stories of people that have been naughty or whatever. But the main thing is to look at the hundreds of positive stories of the people that are helping.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right. And that's when we're trying, at the Music Man Project, we're trying to do that in our own small way. People might have seen on the Music Man Project UK Facebook page, we've got a thing called MMP Wired, and that's where we're putting up all the videos of me, and it will be, you're going to do some of those, Jenny, later on, of just us doing some of our fun songs. And I'm also calling as many people as I can. I'm trying to ring as many students of the Music Man Project just to sing the hello song to them, do a bit of songs, a bit of fun, and then it just breaks
Try and
up the
keep
day.
a little bit of that routine in.
Routine, yeah, so important. Now, talking about that, 2 days ago, it was a special day, but what a strange way to celebrate.
It was a special day.
What happened 2 days ago?
It was my 31st birthday.
Wow, 31. See, I can remember
31.
you when you were 14. So for the listeners, I used to teach Jenny when she was a school student at Eastwood School. And now she's the director of Music Man Project for Essex and a trustee of the charity. So we've known each other a long time.
Yeah, so David, in September, that's 20 years.
Is it? That's horrifying. It makes me feel very old.
And people question where my sanity's gone.
Yeah, true. I know, yes, I think I have some part to play in that. So happy birthday from everybody at the Music Man Project. And on behalf of all of the students right across the world, here we go. Is it your special day? Time to shout hip hip hooray. 'Cause from a little bird we have heard that this week was your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jenny. Happy birthday to you. There we are.
Oh, thank you very much.
We wish you a happy birthday. And now, this while we're on birthdays, if anybody has a birthday in the Music Man Project community, or indeed anybody else that happens to be listening to this podcast, do contact the Music Man Project via our Facebook page, Music Man Project UK, if it's your birthday. And we will sing you happy birthday as part of the podcast. Now, whose birthday was it the other day, Jenny?
Yesterday, it was Abby's birthday.
Abby. And Abby is a Music Man Project, wonderful, an ambassador student from a long time. She's been a part of our music making club. And Abby was how old yesterday, Jenny? Any
I
ideas?
think she was 27. And Abby's mum makes the most fabulous cakes.
She does.
Which we've all tested and tried. And she had a beautiful tangled cake.
Wow. Well, Abby, happy birthday to you. Is it your special day?
Today.
Time to shout hip hip hooray. From a little bird we have heard that this week was your birthday. Now, was that the delay, or were you just deliberately putting in a bit of extra stuff a bit later? That must be the delay.
It must be a delay.
That's quite funny. That's going to come up very interesting. Ready? Happy birthday to Jenny. Actually, when we do this, you've now got to start, Jen. We're going to do that again for Abby, but because there's a delay, slight delay on the line, you've got to start singing Happy Birthday just a second before I start playing.
Okay,
and then I think
it's
we'll
like
be ready.
syncopated singing.
Exactly, it's syncopated singing. So this is going to be very strange for me because I'm going to hear you. No, actually, you might be right. I can't remember. Right, here you go. Ready? Start now.
I'll count you in. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to
works. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Abby. Happy birthday to you. That was right. That actually worked for me, but that's been very weird for you.
Yes, I felt like I was off the time, which wouldn't be the first time in my life. That was completely out of time.
But you were on time, but from your point of view, it must have been dreadfully off of time. But I was following you, so it worked from my point of view. So that's good. So we're going to have to work on that, but that's great. Happy birthday to Abby, and we hope you're at home, safe, and staying in, because the big announcement last night, did anybody see the statement? I think the whole world must have seen Boris
we all
Johnson's
listened to Bojo.
Bojo, I'm quite enjoying his little press conferences and speeches. It's become the new, sitcom that everyone sits around the telly and watches.
It's a bit like Friends, but in isolation, really, isn't it?
It is, yes. And so Boris announced that we are virtually in lockdown now, and so only can go out in pairs and all sorts of rules. So do check up on those rules, but it's getting more serious and getting closer. So please, everybody out there, look after yourself. Jenny, it's been amazing to chat to you. And,
it's been lovely talking to you.
Yes, I do miss having you by my side playing the piano when I do these songs. I'm almost thinking of getting some of my children little Jenny Hitchcock masks so that they could put it on and sit next to the piano and then just sort of join in with the songs and lead some sessions. But it's been great to catch up, and thank you so much for being my guest here on the first episode of the Music Man Project podcast.
And as Vera Lynn said, we'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when.
And stop. The delay is just too
We'll
big.
meet again some sunny day.
Well done. That was almost spontaneous. Thank you so much, Jen. And I'm sure I will see you soon.
We will. Keep safe, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Well, thank you for listening to the very first episode of the Music Man Project podcast. We would like to finish with a lovely performance of our theme song, Music is Magic. In this recording, Jemma Andrews is playing cornet solo. I thank my producer, John Webber. I'm David Stanley. It's time to say goodbye. Goodbye.